Hey folks, this is Kalani. A new alpha build was just deployed, which includes a long list of changes for Torghast, the Tower of the Damned, including modifications to the torment system to completely remove any and all timed aspects. That's very exciting indeed. The rewards from Torghast are also taking a clearer shape as the two different types of runs are becoming very distinct, and every class is also now available to play in the tower. Let's take a closer look and talk about what this means for the Torghast feature as a whole. Before we jump in, be sure to pop by our live stream sometime over at twitch.tv/KalaniTV. We go live every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday at 12 PM PST, and we'll also be live today for a special Thursday edition, and swinging by and saying hi is one of the best ways you can support the channel and everything we do right now, so I hope to see you soon. Let's start with the torment changes, because this was such a hot topic when they were initially introduced. The main problem players had with torments wasn't really the effects at all, the problem was the timed aspect that was attached to them. Arguably, the timed torments actually didn't impact your run all that significantly, but the simple fact that each floor with a timed torment would get harder the longer you took just left a sour taste in everyone's mouths. It's not fun to be pressured through a floor, especially when we were promised that Torghast would have no timed aspect whatsoever. We had timers in Island Expeditions, we had timers in Horrific Visions. It's about time we had a break from timers, and that's what Torghast was initially offering. That was supposed to be the whole point. The dev team has finally acknowledged that timers in Torghast might be a bad idea, so they stripped them out. Every single timed aspect of every torment has been removed. The effects will remain in a similar capacity, but they will be static effects and will no longer scale with how long it takes you to clear a floor. For example, the one which increased your physical damage taken by 1% every 60 seconds, that's been changed to just every monster on the floor deals extra physical damage. They still scale as you get to higher floors, but the timer has been removed. So this does two things. The most important is obviously that it removes the timer. Nothing scales with time, so the floor will stay at the same difficulty whether you take 5 minutes or 50 minutes. The second thing is that it actually increased the power of the monsters instead of decreasing your power as a player. They end up with the same result. Monsters deal more physical damage to you, but by empowering the monster instead of depowering your character, that feels like more of a challenge to confront, rather than Blizzard nerfing you for standing around for 20 minutes. The other torments have changed in the same way. The increased magic damage every 60 seconds is just a static magic damage increase on the monsters instead on those floors, and the one which reduced your damage every 2 minutes, that's been changed to instead increase monster health on affected floors. The actual effect that increases the difficulty of the floors as you get higher hasn't changed significantly, but you can now take as long as you want once again without any fear of running out of time. Even though the timed aspect might not have been super duper impactful, it will be nice not having the constant niggling in the back of your head, that little voice reminding you of the timer, however slight it may be, pushing you onwards, stressing you out, and potentially just ruining the fun you could have had in Torghast. When the timer's gone, I think more players will give Torghast a fair shot instead of just writing it off before they really give it a go. I still don't think torments are perfect, but this is definitely a good step in the right direction, and it proves that the dev team is in fact listening this time around. Battle for Azeroth struggled because feedback wasn't taken seriously. For Shadowlands, it seems like they've learned that lesson. They're listening to feedback and they're actually iterating on systems and features. It's fantastic to see. The second major round of changes for Torghast relate to the different types of runs you can progress through. The first type is where you'll get the important legendary crafting materials. That's the main draw of Torghast. Without Torghast, you won't be able to craft your legendaries and you'll be missing out on a huge portion of your character's potential power. This kind of run is called a cell block run, or at least that's what we're going to call it for now. There are 6 cell blocks in total, and each of them uses one of the standard tile sets in Torghast, and this is actually where the 6 torments came from. There's one for each cell block, which is kinda fitting. A cell block run consists of just 6 floors, which means you have 5 floors to collect anima powers and then a boss to overcome at the end. After you beat the boss, you get a large chest with legendary crafting components, and then the next portal has you exit the run. The legendary crafting items have also changed. Now you collect dust, and you need to get 10 dust to turn it into 1 component, whereas previously we could just collect components themselves. The end chest of a cell block run always seems to contain at least 10 of these dust to give you 1 component total, and you can also find more dust throughout smaller chests in your Torghast run, so be on the lookout for any and all chests while you're running through Torghast. Because they're only 6 floors long, a cell block run is the fastest kind of Torghast run you can do, which is also very important because these are the runs that will be almost mandatory for all players to get through. If you want legendary items, which is going to be all of us, let's be honest, you will have to run cell block Torghast runs. There's no other way to complete your legendary from what we know of the system so far. Being limited to 6 floors might not sound like a lot of fun, but that does mean you should be able to complete them in under 30 minutes in most cases. That makes the system friendly for players who don't have all day to climb through the Tower of the Damned. Some people may have seen these crazy 6-hour runs, 8-hour runs, even 10-hour runs that alpha testers were working through in some iterations of Torghast. That's not going to be the important kind of run. You can get everything you need for legendary items from the cell blocks, which everyone should be able to complete, even if you don't have very long to play. The trade-off is that the cell block runs might be the ones which are going to be restricted in one form or another. The dev team has said several times that they want Torghast to have some limits on it. You will need some form of resource, currency or key to enter a cell block Torghast run. That seems to be the plan so far. You'll probably earn entry by completing other types of content in Shadowlands, like working with your Covenant, exploring the Maw Zone, and whatever other pieces of content the dev team actually wants to push you through, similar to coalescing visions in Horrific Visions and patch 8.3. The idea of limiting Torghast runs is to give you the chance to say, alright, I'm done with this character for the week. I can't get any more legendary crafting items from Torghast, so I can go and do other things until reset day comes around. That's also going to benefit all of your alts, because if you could farm Torghast endlessly for the legendary rewards, you might not have any time left to farm them on your alts. While we have heard several times that the Torghast runs that reward legendary crafting components will likely be limited, we haven't seen anything added onto the alpha yet that actually works that way. You can run into the cell blocks as many times as you want right now, so maybe they're going to change their mind on the restrictions, or maybe they're just waiting to add that in so we can still test Torghast as much as we want. Only 2 out of the 6 cell blocks will be available in any given week, and they will rotate as the weekly reset comes around. And this build also added in the Wayfinder to allow you to start on higher floors in cell blocks. That's brand new. You can still only progress for 6 floors on this side of Torghast, but you can start at higher and higher floors if you can complete your runs. So if you get to floor 6 and kill the boss, the next time you go in you have the option to start on floor 7. If you then get through to floor 12 and kill the boss, you can start on floor 13. Rinse and repeat for, well, as high as you can go by the sounds of things. The dev team also said the higher you go in the tower, the more legendary crafting reagents you will get. So the players who can push themselves and clear higher floors of the cell blocks will be able to create more of their legendary items faster than everyone else. So cell block runs are the important ones with the key rewards from Torghast. They're also the shortest Torghast runs, you can complete them in under 30 minutes, and they will almost certainly require a special item or currency to enter, and you will only be able to do a certain number of them on each character each week. But that doesn't mean Torghast as a feature is restricted in the same way. You still have the twisting corridors. This is the endless, quote-unquote, version of Torghast where you can enter as many times as you want, run for as long as you want, climb up to 18 floors at a time, and generally just have fun. You can push yourself or just smash your way through easy floors again and again to see what anima power combinations you can create, and this build removed all legendary component drops from the twisting corridors to solidified that you will have to run cell blocks to get that reward, but they replaced it with a new item called Twisted Dust. Apparently this will be used for cosmetic rewards, so we have those to look forward to. Hopefully the higher you can climb, the more dust you can gather and the shinier rewards you can unlock. So we're starting to see a very distinctive split between the two different types of Torghast runs. One side will be for character power, progression and legendary items, while the other side will be for fun and cosmetic rewards. I think this might end up being a decent compromise for the system as a whole, but I'll keep testing to see if my personal opinions and thoughts change with more experience. There's one last thing I want to talk about relating to Torghast in this build. Paladins and rogues have been enabled. That means every single class can play through Torghast right now. We can tinker around with different anima powers and anima power builds, like extending Avenging Wrath for as long as possible and increasing the damage of Hammer of Wrath. Very fun indeed. That also means we now have access to every single Covenant ability in the game. They rotate every single day in Torghast, so when the Necro Lord Covenant abilities come around for Paladins and Rogues, I'll have footage and information about all of them. So look forward to seeing those videos very soon. With all of the classes in and ready for testing, we might also see development efforts shift towards other areas of the alpha. Torghast has been a central focus for a good chunk of the alpha testing up until this point, because it's such a huge feature and they obviously want to get it right. But as it becomes a more complete picture, I'm sure they'll start to add in some other systems like legendary crafting, the Maldraxxus zone, maybe even the Maw zone. I feel like every class in Torghast is an awesome milestone event for the alpha, which means we're one step closer to beta and that eventual release date. We also have that huge announcement to look forward to next week, so hold on to your buttocks, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a great couple of weeks for alpha information. But that's all I wanted to touch on in this video. Torghast is shaping up quite nicely. I wonder what the next big feature to appear on the alpha will be. What do you think of timers being completely removed from the torment effects? Is that enough, or do you think torment should also be removed entirely? How do you feel about the main reward runs of Torghast being only 6 floors long? Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to explore the alpha, including the new Ardenweald zone along with us live, you can find us over at twitch.tv/KalaniTV. We stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday and Saturday at 12 PM PST. We are also going live today on Thursday for a special stream. Watching the stream and coming to say hi is one of the best ways you can support the channel right now, and if you ever wanted to be included in the list of names at the end of every video, a subscription on Twitch is the easiest way to make that happen. You also get a free sub to any Twitch channel if you have Amazon Prime, so be sure to take advantage of that. A big thank you to everyone who has subscribed on Twitch already, and to our supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to join these lovely guys and gals, well, now you know how. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.